Hello. Happy Wednesday. How are you guys doing? I missed you last week. I had a friend in town and conference, and there was a lot happening in the world. So here I am. I'm back. Excited to be here. It's officially fall, which makes me so happy. I love the fall. I love the different the tastes of fall, the change in the weather, and especially in Florida. It takes a while to get there, but I love it. We're in the evenings, in the mornings we've been in like the 70s off and on for the last few weeks. We Last week was pretty warm, but we're back in like the high today. I think it's like 82, and in the morning and the evening it's like in the 70s, which is so nice. We don't really get a real like fall or winter here. We pretty much just get a long summer, and then a little bit of fall, couple days of winter-ish. But everything stays green, then and then we get, spring. I suppose we definitely get a spring, but for the most part it stays green. There's some trees that will change, and you'll be like, there's that leaf. So anyways, it is awesome. I love fall. I do miss the seasons. Like, I grew up north, so I miss of more of like the real getting to really experience the seasons. I really want my girls to experience that, so I'm hoping to we'll either take long trips up in like the South Carolinas during the in South Carolina during the fall, winter, or it would be really cool to have like a second home up there. So we usually always take a trip, but it's been a couple years since we've gone up to South Carolina. But yes, I love fall. I love the tastes and all the things. So it's good. And I just love the change in seasons. I love that because, God's often always doing something new and pulling us into new things and growing us. And the seasons do mirror that and help us to see, especially when you live somewhere that really has full seasons, like the winter time. Things are barren and they look dead, and it looks bleak, um but there's also beauty in it, and it serves a purpose. Things get to rest, and there's new growth, and old unproductive things can kind of be pruned back and pruned away, and then it you know gives birth to the spring, and that whole thing, which is just those are cycles of life that happen with us, all the time as we're growing and leaning into what God's doing. And so I love the seasons. I love that. I love change. I love new things. Um, and it's good. So I actually really enjoy the time changes, even though, when you lose an hour, that is not necessarily fun. But in Florida, the darker times, the shorter days actually for me help being like, oh, it's a different season, because like I said, we don't really get a lot of physical changes outdoors. So to me, I enjoy it, even though, it can take a little bit to get in the swing of the new things, but I do enjoy it overall. So, something that's been on my heart to talk about today is real versus fake. And in our culture, there is so much fake out there. And I think society as a whole, many of us are just craving real things, real food, real connection, real truth. Like, truth is what's real. There's so much deception, there's so much lying. There is, whether it's what's in our food, what's in our medicine, how people are showing up on social media. There's so much that's just not real, and I think we're all craving that. And it's the truth and real, whatever part of life it is, it's good, right? The Bible says you'll know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. And it could be, as far as our food, like, there's so much fake food in the grocery store. It's not even food, it's stuff. The ingredients are created in a lab. Our bodies don't know what they are. It disrupts our cells. It disrupts our endocrine systems. You know, the our mitochondria, which are our end little engines in our body that create energy, like can't function right. Literally, they're the temperature of our body. Like, you know, like this is what the human body's temperature is literally come down across the board as average. And they're just like, oh, this is the new normal thing. And it's like, it's actually because we're less healthy. We're not like, we've actually like our running temperature has like come down a little bit because we're not like as vibrant and stuff. And it's crazy. But you know, when your little engines aren't working right, you can't produce energy properly and you get sick. You know, that's one of the big causes of they're really finding out that's one of the big causes of um you know, chronic disease and stuff like that. And it's crazy, you know, connected with like insulin issues and stuff like that. We just, our bodies are struggling, right? And it's because of food we're eating, it's because of stress, it's because of just this kind of unhuman life that we're living, like things that are just not sustainable, like eating food that's not real food, living lives that are just disconnected from each other and from the outdoors and creation. Like we're created to like be outside and get sunlight, and so many of us don't have that um kind of life. I know I have to be like I have to be intentional to be outside and all that. And it's it's really it's good to be out in the real elements, you know, rather than in our air conditioned inside place. And don't get me wrong, I'm very thankful for air conditioning. I live in Florida, and as I've mentioned already, I am very grateful for the air conditioning. But just you know, stepping back and being like, okay, how can we? I'm looking outside at this really pretty bird. Their birds are starting to come down from the north, and there's this little teeny guy with yellow on him. He's very pretty. I've been doing, you know, my recordings now. I'm trying to do them in like front of a window, so the light is actually like real light on my face rather than like a ring light or whatever. And not that there's anything wrong with light or whatever, but it's just it's nicer. Like it's not as taxing on my eyes, and it's I get to see like a bird flying around, and just real is better. Real food is better, you know. Um, growing up, my mom always got real butter. She never fell into the margarine thing, and now we know how terrible that stuff is for you. And thankfully, my parents were very much, as far as food and things like that go, they weren't perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but they were, as far as the standards were in the 90s and that kind of thing, they were so far ahead of their time with being just being healthy. And very little, we very rarely took antibiotics. We, you know, we would just do soup and tea and, you know, breathe in, you know, do like a steam thing for your help your sinuses and stuff, like real things that help you, that actually help your immune system rather than like fighting it, you know? It's like you just need like a little like finishing nail, and you come in with a sledgehammer, and it's like it's not beneficial for your body to do these things. Um and then relationships, like real connection, you know, we can't have connection. You know, we have social media, and it's like there's so many people that are just so isolated and are craving like real connection and real relationship. And it's hard to happen, to get that to happen, when we hide behind things or when we're afraid to really be known and seen. And that's a whole process to go through. But to have real connections, that people that really know you, really know what you're going through, are your, you know, your friend no matter what, that don't, you know, that help you grow and don't, but don't judge you along the process. You know, there's, we can also fall into the trap of just hanging out with anybody and just, you know, having toxic relationships where we're complaining and gossiping and, you know, not challenging ourselves. And that's not good either. You know, you want to design your life and be intentional with the kind of people that you want to hang out with, because it affects you. It affects everything about your life, the people that you spend time with. And um so that's really important. But being real and being able to have people that you can just share things with, your struggles, your downfalls, and that we're all a work in progress, we're all growing. um and just that is, I know people are just craving that so much, the real things, real relationships, real food, real things that help your body get better and be healthy. And it is, it's so important. It's so important. And then, we have AI, which can be great. Like, it can be a great tool to do things with, but it also, there's this whole element of what's real, like what is real out there. And I just think in whatever way we can individually, it's different for everybody, but doing our best to have realness in our life, realness, like put your phone down and go sit outside and look at the trees, look at, look at the birds, like take a minute, read a book, get off the device and read a book, a real book. I love audiobooks. I have twin girls. I'll listen to stuff sometimes when I'm cleaning or driving or walking with them, but it's also, there's nothing like sitting down and just reading a real book. My husband, a couple weeks ago, I don't know, he was watching the girls. I was out meeting somebody or running some errands or something, and he put him down for nap time, and he thought he left his phone in the nursery. And of course, you're not going to go back in there because you're not waking him up during nap time. So he was just like, "Oh well." And he decided to just read a book, and he said he like went outside, and he said it was like so great to like, he had like, 2 hours or whatever where he didn't have his phone. And he ended up finding it later and it wasn't even in there, but it was like it was so refreshing to him. It was like, there's this, if you really take time to do it, you will see there is no, just hanging out and scrolling on your phone and being on a device does not give you the same kind of rest. It's just getting off of it. And we're addicted to it. There's dopamine, like, so to be intentional, to just do something real, like put a puzzle together with your family or something, play a game, something different. It is so good for us. Real things are so good for us. Making a meal at home doesn't have to be complicated. Real ingredients. Our bodies know what it is. So many of our issues, we are most overweight nation. We have our fertility problems are like going through the roof. Like, it's crazy. Just every year the fertility in America is like plummeting. And um it's all kinds of things. It's stress, environmental toxins, the stuff we're eating and putting in our body, the things we grow up eating, and it affects us, it affects us. And just taking the time to be like, what's going in my body, because it matters, and sometimes we just get hung up on like calories and stuff like that, and it's like, it's not, that's not the most important thing. Like, obviously you can't just like overeat, but the most important thing is the quality of ingredients that you're putting in your body. This is something I've been pretty intentional most of my life, very intentional since probably, I'd say 2012. We have eaten probably 80 to 90% organic, grass fed. As I learn more, like lately, we eat like pasture raised food as much as possible, because it's, again, it's like how they were designed to eat. Like, chickens aren't designed to eat grain. That's not something that they just naturally eat. They're out eating bugs and picking around, and that's what they do. And same thing, cows, they graze on grass, and and that kind of thing. And there's obviously different methods that you can do. It's not just like, it doesn't have to be completely locked in. I know I've listened to different people about like cattle, people that raise cattle and stuff that they do, but overall they're not meant to be like locked inside of a feedlot and just be eating corn and genetically modified corn and soybean, never seeing the light of day. Like they're just not meant to do that. We're not meant to be locked inside either. So it's just this real thing where we're connected back to the way God intended things and working with nature, working with our bodies to get the best result. Um, Sunlight and fresh air are so good for our bodies, and like grounding, being outside, like putting your feet on the earth. It's not like a woo woo thing, it's like a real actual thing with how your body like we have electricity in our bodies. I mean, it's science. It's not some kind of new age weirdness. And when you stand on the actual earth that God created for us, it does things for your body. They look at blood, and within 10 minutes your inflammation goes down, your blood changes just by that. Like, I'm losing my words here for what it is, but anyway, it's like an exchange of the energy, like the ions and whatnot. Anyways, I need to get my brain around expressing that in words better. But anyways, it's a totally real thing, and it is amazing, and it makes you feel more calm. And yeah, but we're definitely craving that as a society, realness, getting back to like, how are we supposed to do things? Like, I think about this, like we live in a subdivision, we have an HOA. Our goal is to get land and that kind of thing. But we pay all this money to take care of our grass, and we don't even do anything with it. Like, it's like, and then you're mostly spraying this like terribly toxic stuff on your yard to make it look green, and then you don't even do anything with it. You're not like, you have a like we I mean, obviously you can do different things, but we have a small fenced in. Our lot is like a quarter an acre lot, but our the fenced in portion is like small. So we're like taking care of this, bigger lot in neighborhoods like this. And for just, just to keep it green, and it's so bad for the environment. It's killing all these bugs. It's making like the pollinators have a hard time, and then it's running off into the river with the fertilizer and all this stuff, and it's not good for the environment. So we have these like it's just so much like fake, right? And I don't want people to not take care of their grass. I'm not saying I don't want it to look crazy in here, but like in our backyard, I don't let our landscaper spray anything. I use very high strength vinegar to kill weeds back here because my dogs are back here, and my girls walk around out there, and we're out there, and I don't want that stuff tracked back in. The herbicides are just so bad for you, like so bad for you, so bad for your kidneys, Roundup and stuff. It's literally 100% cancer causing bad. Um, and or just spray it so the yard looks pretty. And it's just crazy. It's just crazy the stuff that we do. When you think about it, it's just wild. And we can do things different. We could do things differently, if we just stop and think like, oh my gosh, this is really detrimental. But we have to pivot, and there is some inconvenience to it. But would you rather have some inconvenience or just dump all this toxins all over our, the things that we're supposed to be taking care of, you know what I mean? And it's just, and it's in on our food. If you're not buying like organic food, like it's the herbicides, you're eating them, and we are organisms filled with all kinds of bacteria, and those things that stuff kills the stuff inside of us, and then our gut health and all these things. And it's just crazy. There's just so much broken, that if we just take a step back and take time to be like, okay, wait a minute, what are we doing? Like, let's do real things, beneficial things. Let's take time to like let's stop spraying stuff with like these toxins and just take the extra. You can still have a yard without weeds and you don't have to like poison yourself in the process and poison, the streams and stuff around us. Um and I'm not against like gasoline cars, and I'm not like a, you know, tree hugger in that regard, but we should be good stewards of stuff, and we don't need to just damage the environment for no reason. We need to find ways to, like our water treatment systems. There's Thank God they're removing fluoride, but there's chlorine and stuff. Do you know how bad chlorine is for you? And literally, if you're drinking your tap water, you're drinking chlorine. I mean, we have a Berkey. We filter our water, but when I turn the water in the morning, you can smell it. It smells like a pool. And we're bathing in that. And there's just so much that's so broken. And there's other ways we need to filter water. Like, I mean, obviously, we know there's been people die of things when water's contaminated. Like, it's important. But there's other ways to do it that are healthy. There's ozone treatment. There's different ways. I'm not an expert here by any stretch of the imagination, but there's countries that do things and make water good for you without and safe without making it like incredibly damaging to your health. So anyway, these are just things that I think about, and just being real and getting just real connection with people, connection with your kids, like spending time with our kids and not just shuttling them off somewhere, and you know like spending time together as a family, and not being so stressed out that we can't, so many things in life get us so stressed out that we don't have time. Like, we can't even lean into being connected because we're just so stressed out. And some of the things are unavoidable, but some of them we can avoid them and we can get them off of our plate. We can design life how we want it to be. We can scale back. We can make things more simple so we can be healthier all the way around. You know, we can eat healthier food, and it doesn't have to be crazy. You can just make some a meat and a vegetable, and it's real food. You know, and we're gonna one way or another, we're gonna be inconvenienced. We're gonna be inconvenienced by taking the time to take care of ourselves, or we're gonna be inconvenienced um, by not being healthy, right? And I've experienced both. Like, I've a lot, in a lot of ways I have taken care of myself. In a lot of ways I haven't, just because of the world we live in. If you're not like super intentional, you know, it's crazy out there. So, yeah, but just real. I think we're all just craving real things the way they were intended, what we were designed to do, the way um our ancestors did things that worked. Obviously there's development and learning and all that kind of stuff. Like, if I get in a car accident and or some kind of accident, like, take me to the emergency room. Like, our medical system, as far as that goes, is absolutely incredible. Like, trauma type stuff, like emergency, you know critical care, that kind of stuff, amazing. But as far as like preventative and like helping you with chronic disease, it's horrible. It's a joke. We're so sick, and people trust this stuff, and it's like, look around, like, and we're scared to do something different And why? Why are we scared to do something different? And be scared to just be stuck in the system. Like the systems, that's what should scare you, not being removing yourself from these systems. Like the systems in our culture, most of them are incredibly broken. Um, my gosh, the medical system, the school system, our food industry, broken, 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 broken. So it takes time. You don't have to do things overnight, but like what can you do to help yourself do things that are just more holistic and real and helpful, and to slow down and to just remove yourself from the rat race of stuff that doesn't work. um so anyway, these are my thoughts. I've pretty much been rambling, but it's all good. um well, I hope you enjoy the fall season. I will talk to you again next week, and I'd love your thoughts. But it's not all negative. On a positive note, like there is so much real going on. Like this is a cultural like churning. Like people are questioning, like, wait a minute, what's in my food? Where did my food come from? And getting closer to like connection and knowing where our food came from, and all that kind of stuff. Like it's so important, and people are questioning some of the healthcare things and realizing like, oh, every time I get a cold, I don't have to get on antibiotics, like uh, you know, just not being afraid of a fever. Like, a fever is actually good for you. It's your immune system fighting off whatever's going on. And in some cases when fevers get super high, there's that, but like we always get afraid of that before that actually even happens, and most of the time the fever is going to come down and you don't have to do anything about it. Like it's actually your body's defense system, and it's fevers are a good thing. Fevers are a good thing. Like I grew up always knowing that. We never freaked out about fevers. It was just your body's defenses taking care of stuff. You don't have to be like, "Oh, fever, give me some," You just anyways. So, but our society is definitely wanting this and turning this way, and it's good. It's good. I mean, Walmart is like selling so much organic stuff. Like huge. Like, and they didn't do that, whatever, 15 years ago. That was not the case. And it's because people are wanting it. What consumers want is what is going to be put out there. So there's a demand for it, which is great. So There's so much um there's so much hope, and it's awesome. There's so many cool birds flying around in my backyard right now. It's awesome. I saw a cardinal. There's this little teeny blue guy out there right now. They're all coming down because it's getting cold up north. So, okay, well, bless you guys, and I will see you next week.